This video was brought to you by Red Magic. In basically every video game, there are callouts, a specific location on the map that gives a identification to where your teammate or your opponent might be. Because you can't just say someone is there. Because if someone says something is there one more time, I am going to lose it. For example, in Counter-Strike, there's some short form. We say some players are going up catwalk, for example, or just cat for short. Or we say a couple are in mid, which is short for Overwatch, of course.
Does this mean Overwatch is back?
No.
Okay, so with this in mind, there are much more complex callouts for reasons that are so unnecessary, but you just sound kind of cool knowing the lingo. So, with that in mind, you have 5 seconds to guess what the name of this corner on the map of Nuke is called. It's called Asian. Counter-Strike contains hundreds of callouts, and things are a lot stupider than just calling something what it is. You would think that this spot on Ancient is just called a big box, because it's a box that is big. But no, it's actually called Brokey by a decent amount of players because they all have to let you know that, hey, by the way, I watch esports. Did you know that I really like this guy named Brokey? Do you watch esports? Do you know that I watch esports, guys? I actually do watch a lot of esports. Anyways. But why is this corner called Asian? Well, it's spelled a little bit differently than you think. It's spelled AZN. Kevin AZN Wang was an American 1.6 player back in 2006. Now, much of the 1.6 professional footage no longer exists on the internet, so I had to do some digging around. I asked Jordan Nothing Gilbert and Jason Moses O'Toole, both American 1.6 players who are still active in the community. While there isn't really highlights of AZN on the internet from his position, Moses and Nothing just say that he completely dominated this spot on the map. It's funny because he wasn't particularly good at the game. He didn't really lift any trophies, win any tournaments. He was just so tenacious from this one spot on the map that some guy got so annoyed, he started calling it by that name. So, same map, Nuke. A fun relation to our previous funny call out, you have 5 seconds to guess what the name of this position is called by most people. It typically goes by Africa. So the theory is that people started calling that vent Asia, and someone came along and said, let's name another part of Nuke after a continent. So, relatively speaking, let's look at Nuke's minimap. Here is Asia. Here is Africa. Let's try and put a world map over this. Why is this so complicated? Quick little ad time. Mobile gamers. They've been the laughingstock of esports for many years, but legitimately, as games have gotten better and the esports have gotten more competitive than ever before, you genuinely need better hardware. And that comes in through Red Magic. With the Red Magic 10 Pro providing what I can only equate to is a gaming laptop in your pocket, benchmarking better than the iPhone 16 Max on MMORPGs like Genshin and Honkai Star Rail. But as someone who's been dabbling in the Brawl Stars grind, the 144Hz gameplay with no notch on the phone gives me the cleanest gaming experience yet. Alongside that, having a completely flat camera so that you can game seamlessly, and its own mode that allows you to optimize your system for whatever game you play. And at literal worst, you've got one powerful as hell phone with all the Google compatibility you need. Check out the link below for more, and thanks to Red Magic for keeping Phy a happy Brawl Stars camper. Okay, but don't get me started on the callouts that are named after players or teams. There are so many on the map of Nuke, but I'm just gonna name a few. This position is called Mustang by most and is named after another American 1.6 player from 20 years ago. This corner is called Astralis because it's where the greatest team of all time often planted the bomb here on Nuke. Another Astralis-related call is this box outside typically goes by Glaive, as that is where Astralis' famed in-game leader would consistently be taking outside control and be spotted from. In a similar way to the Asian vent, a lot of positions have gotten names after players who frequently would be spotted there. So let's take this to other maps, where one of the most common player name callouts is this corner on Cache, which goes by NBK. He was a star French rifler for most of the 2010s, and would dominate the A side of Cache on many of his French teams. Also on the A side of Cache, there's this boosted position. Many content creators have beaten this one to death. It's a callout that's named after your favorite Valorant watch partier, Shroud. However, this one has a legendary moment in Counter-Strike attached to it. Here's the context. In October of 2014, Cloud9 are facing overtime or bust in the CSGO Season 5 finals. They're facing off against one of North America's heaviest hitters, iBuyPower, before the incident where they all got banned. iBuyPower enter into the grand final needing to win 2 back-to-back best of 3s, since they were sent to lowers by Cloud9 themselves earlier in the tournament. And they're about to do it. IBP are 1 round away from completing the double BO3 sweep. Cloud9 look like they're about to lose the event. They're down in a 3v4, and on a desperate force buy with only pistols versus the rifles of iBuyPower. But this desperation makes a moment in Counter-Strike history.
Shroud has let them all pass. 1, 2, 3! Oh, jeez, it's the last one alive! Oh, man is tied it! They're going
And now it's called Shroud Forever. Don't ask me whether or not Cloud9 went on to win this event in overtime. Here's another one of the most common player name calls in Counter-Strike history. It's called Olaf, for Olaf Meister, of course, because he would be relentlessly pushing this on the CT side. Once again, no true highlights from this position, but like many callouts, one pro player found him so annoying that he just started calling that spot Olaf. And even with the train redesign, I expect this callout to stick. And once again, all these player callouts have kind of spread by word of mouth. I doubt that the Silver 4 or the Face It Level 2 in your lobby has ever been sprayed down by Glaive, Olaf, or Shroud from that position. Everyone says it because you heard someone else say it. And you definitely feel very cool saying that. I know esports. I'm not like the other guys. Speaking of the other guys, in Valorant, they've got a total of like 1 callout that is actually stuck, but with the player name. In the early days of Valorant, former North American Counter-Strike player turned washed up North American Counter-Strike player turned Valorant player turned washed up Valorant player turned content creator Subroza is facing down a tricky situation. On the map Ascent, Subroza walks forward into this little position. No one really had any idea what to call it at the time. The game had only really been out for like 3 months. Well, now we do.
This is going to be huge. He's going to spawn all of them right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my God.
All right, so we got the common callouts out of the way. Let's get some of the more uncommon ones so that you can up your lingo game. Starting with Mirage. We've got this corner, which goes by Apex, a top 3 in-game leader of all time, and this is his only homage in the game. Skadoodle's Pillar, a North American opper, major winner, and Get Right. One of the most iconic Counter-Strike players of all time, has one of the most important positions on Mirage. I actually tried to dig through the archives and actually, find a highlight from this position from Get Right. Not really any exist. No pun intended. Shoutouts exist. Okay, but with this in mind, you all have 5 seconds to guess what this position is called. It's called Get Left, because it's the other side of get right. Dude, Counter-Strike players are so stupid. However, some people just call this McDonald's because you gotta love the golden arches. Alrighty, time to stray away from player names. I know I missed a couple, like Coldzera Box on Inferno. Sorry, all of Brazil. So here are just some more creative callouts, instead of calling it exactly what it is. This underground tunnel on Inferno that goes from one side of the map to another is called Mexico, for the exact reasons you think it is. The truck on Overpass, some people call Optimus. It's 3 syllables compared to 1, but it's cool, I guess. However, another Transformers reference, specifically in Australia, this place on Nuke is called Megatron. The theory that I've been approached with is that if you look at the ramp room from this spot on the site, it looks like the face of a Transformer. This has not caught on in other regions, but I do hope it does, because this is fucking sick. This box is called Xbox. It is one of the most common callouts on Counter-Strike's most played map ever. It's also the second best console to PlayStation. I actually don't have any horses in this race. I've never owned a console in my life. But millions of players have called this box without a second thought to why. These days, it has a green tarp over it, so maybe a little homage, I don't know. But it's been called Xbox far before it. A decade ago, I was calling it when I was 11 years old in a casual lobby. In 1.6, it just had an X on it, so it was cool to call it Xbox. Scientifically speaking, it stuck. It's really interesting to think about how some teenagers in their bedroom, basements, or wherever else they're unemployed from can just say a couple words and it can change the language and the jargon of an entire video game franchise. It's literally creating a culture. Social constructs happening in a fucking video game. God, how lame. Anyways, with that short conclusion... Wait. Hold on. Why the hell is this spot called Gandalf? Like, I understand in 2020, I just heard some commentators start calling it that. And I know it might be like a you shall not pass type angle. Back when I was a kid, yes, I can say that now, it was just called Ninja because most people would try to ninja defuse from that particular location. It's cool, I guess, and people thought it was cool. I suppose, scientifically speaking, it stuck. Once again, thanks to Red Magic and the Red Magic 10 Pro, the highest performance mobile device I've ever had my hands on. They're providing everything a mobile gamer needs as this market continues to grow and grow and grow. So stay ahead of the curve with Red Magic. On that note, folks, thank you guys so much for watching.
Of a generation. Molotov's in, set piece out. Shroud has let them all pass. 1, 2, 3! Oh, Days is the last one alive! Oh, they just tied it! They're going to overtime! Oh my...